Welcome back to Primetime News, and a special welcome once again to our viewers on OneSpotMedia.com. A day after announcing $14 billion in tax cuts, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark found himself defending his choice to cut the taxes he did instead of others. Journalists pressed the minister for answers at his post-budget news conference, seeking to know why the tax on gas and/or the general consumption tax (GCT) were not targeted for relief. So what did he say? Here's TVJ's Andrea Chisholm.
Yesterday we presented a give back, and that is what it is. A tax give back with no increases.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark reassuring Jamaicans that the $14 billion tax cut was just that, a cut. For example, the asset tax on non-financial institutions and a minimum business tax of $60,000 will be abolished come April 1. But one may argue that the tax relief will only benefit businesses and those doing certain types of transactions. So why not reduce the general consumption tax (GCT) or the gas tax so that ordinary Jamaicans can benefit?
We are not out of the woods. At 96% of debt to GDP leaves us still very vulnerable.
And so specific taxes were targeted,
i.e. taxes that distort business activity, investment activity, and economic activity, and distort activity across a range of sectors and for everybody, whether it's an individual for a car loan or a mortgage, or it's a micro business person.
And with stamp duty being reduced to a flat $5,000 fee per transaction, Dr. Clark said it should be easier for Jamaicans to move loans such as mortgages from one financial institution to another.
With the reforms that we are implementing, that will not exist anymore. The ability to phase out financial institutions who are not serving you well is enhanced because these transaction taxes go away.
Meanwhile, with the rise of Airbnb, which facilitates short-term accommodation, it's becoming more difficult for people to rent houses for long periods, especially in the corporate area. The argument is that due to demand, owners at times make more money with short-term rentals. What's the plan to address that? Dr. Clark said one should not only look at demand, but also supply, pointing to reduced transaction costs like the transfer tax on property moving from 5% to 2%.
You're likely to see a much greater supply of property development and of housing. Already this year, and this should not go unnoticed, the NHT plans 8,640 housing starts in 1 year alone, this year.
Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.